from our studios in downtown Salisbury. This is WMDT 47 News at 11.
Despite years of investigating, some ruthless homicides are still unsolved in Delaware. Tonight, we'll bring you the first part of our week-long series on cold cases in the first state. Plus, it was a hectic summer for the Ocean City Police Department, and with another tourist season right around the corner, how did the popular beach town fare when it came to crime? And social media is taking your typical drinking game to the next level, but medical experts say it's not all in good fun. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm David Caldwell. More news in less time starts now. We begin this evening with a special report, our 5-part series on cold cases in Delaware. WMDT's Kelly Rule sat down with Delaware State Police to get the latest on 5 unsolved murders over the past few years in the first state. And she joins us now live in the studio with more. Kelly?
Yeah, that's right, David. Tonight we begin with the murder of 23-year-old Jerome Hill. It's been more than 6 years since he was killed in Dover Air Park mobile home. And while police still have little information, they tell me they are not giving up their fight in finding who is responsible. August 18th, 2007, a night amongst friends on Carpenter Street in Dover Air Park that took a turn for the worse. Police say 23-year-old Jerome Hill was at a 24-year-old's home at this location, and around 2:15 a.m., 3 to 4 suspects entered the home, striking the 24-year-old in the face with what appeared to be a revolver and shooting him in the right thigh. Hill was shot multiple times in the head, killing him. Police say it was from this mobile home where 3 to 4 suspects fled in an unknown direction, and they are still unaware if they took any property after the invasion. The surviving victim gave little help to police.
He wasn't able to give us a clothing description, an age, or anything of that nature, but we are tending to believe that they were male suspects.
Now, more than 6 years later, the mobile home has been replaced with a new one, vacant and up for sale. Neighbors aren't even familiar with the incident.
There was no indication that, this residence itself stood out more than any other.
Police say they still have not ruled out drugs as a factor in the incident and believe the home may have been targeted. And as for the reason why, they still aren't giving up.
At this time, we don't have any descriptors on the suspects, but we're looking for anything or any witnesses that were in that area at the time.
Now, Delaware State Police say their investigation is ongoing and they are looking for any tips that could help them follow up on this homicide. So if you have any information, call 1-800-TIP-3333. And police are asking everyone to keep in mind that through this line, callers will be able to give information anonymously. David?
All right, Kelly, thank you very much for your report tonight. And be sure to tune in to WMDT at 6, 10, and 11 the rest of the week to catch more stories on the cold cases in Delaware. The state of Maryland has dropped its case against a former Wicomico High School football coach accused of child abuse. According to State's Attorney Matt Massarello, the alleged victim did not want to testify against David Nettles again, so all remaining charges are therefore dropped. This would have been the 3rd time going to trial for Nettles. He was accused of sexually abusing a former student who was 17 at the time of the alleged abuse. Back in July, a judge declared a mistrial after a jury was unable to arrive at a unanimous verdict.
It's a lot for a victim to go through a trial such as that. He's just elected that at this point in time, he just doesn't want to go through it yet a 3rd time.
At this time, the state says no other charges or cases are pending against Nettles. In Ocean City, overall crime was down last year. The 2013 year-end report was released to town officials last week from the Ocean City Police Department, which shows only a slight increase in calls for service, along with the number of citations and warnings, but a decline in the number of arrests. Despite some high-profile crimes that happened over the summer, the numbers show a 13% decline from 2012.
So that 150 plus less more serious crimes that we didn't have in 2013 that we did have in 2012 shows progress, and it's very, very promising and optimistic as we move forward.
The statistics show the highest number of crimes happened over the summer, with more than 300 offenses in June. But Chief Bizzurro tells WMDT the department is ready for what this season will bring. And speaking of the upcoming season, this past weekend probably would have been a great time to head to the beach, with Mother Nature giving us a quick glimpse of spring-like weather. But winter isn't finished with us just yet. Let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Travis Michaels for more on what to expect this week. Hey, Travis.
Well, thank you so much, David. Yes, I think we were kind of spoiled this weekend with those temperatures in the 70s and the 60s. Fantastic conditions, but it's all leaving us. Stay tuned for that, plus your full 7-day in just a few more minutes. David?
Alrighty, thank you, Travis. Maryland's Chiefs of Police and Sheriff's Association are coming together in opposition of legalizing marijuana. In a statement released today, they say the Senate bill, which would enable the possession of 10 grams or less and alter the penalty to a civil offense, could have a crippling effect on public and highway safety and negatively impact children. A number of representatives reportedly plan to voice their opposition tomorrow in Annapolis. Well, a new weapon could be on the way for the Salisbury Police Department. The City Council voted tonight to set aside $12,500 to buy 9 electronic control devices or tasers. Salisbury Police tell WMDT they plan to use them first through a pilot program to provide proper training and decide exactly how to implement the new devices.
We've still got a ways to go before they're actually out on the road. What we're looking at is to reduce injuries to our officers, reduce injuries to the individuals that they're arresting.
Police say their #1 goal is to increase officer and citizen safety, and they expect the tasers to officially go into use within about a year. Now, of course, for more on this, plus any of today's local headlines, just head on over to WMDT.com. Evolution Craft Brewery is pushing for legislation to let them and other brew pubs brew more beer. A new Senate bill could raise the limit on how many barrels brew pubs can produce from the current law that caps production levels at 22,500. Evolution owners argue the current limit could prevent them from selling more to their wholesalers. However, the state's liquor lobby worries any increase would keep the breweries from selling to them and operate independently. And that legislation could affect a brand new craft brewery set to open in a few months in Ocean City. OC Brewing Company plans to be up and running in May at the corner of 56th Street and Coastal Highway. The building is about 18,000 square feet. It's the former site of a lumber yard, and the bar, gift shop, and restaurant will take up about 7,500 feet of that space. While the building is still under construction, as you can see, the business has big plans.
We're going to be bringing in some great music. We're going to have some great food. We're going to be making our own sausage and brats right here to go along with some really tasty beers. It should just be a fun time for everybody that comes and visits us.
General Manager Tom Lord also says they plan to have 12 to 15 beers on draft, as well as selling cans and bottles, and they plan to hold community events and fundraisers during the off-season. Now, on the topic of alcohol, beer pong, flip cup, and quarters. They're drinking games that can be fun, dangerous, and anywhere in between. Well, you can add another game to the list, but this one uses the viral nature of social media to grow, and it's already having deadly results. WMDT's Cody Leibowitz has the story.
It's an online drinking trend called Neck Nominates, with a camera recording a person starts drinking a beer, a shot, sometimes more. They then perform an extreme stunt of some kind and upload the whole video to a number of websites, including Facebook. Then,
I'd like to nominate.
That person then nominates other people in their social circle to record their own video, and like a chain letter, it spreads. In just a matter of months, ABC News has reported 5 deaths linked to this social media trend. According to Dr. Jeremy Strokirk of Peninsula Regional Medical Center, so far there's no record of anyone heading to the hospital as a result of this exact game.
Sometimes we'll see kids playing drinking games and then might dare each other. We might see kids riding bicycles. We'll see people pulling out their cell phones, taking pictures of their friends. Halloween's a good example. They come in their costumes or taking pictures of their friends or actively throwing up off the side of the stretcher.
It's a very dangerous form of drinking.
Salisbury University Counseling Services Director Dr. Kathleen Scott says she was shocked after watching the videos.
It's not just drinking involved. People are doing things that are putting themselves in a position that could cause serious harm or death. There's really nothing good that can come of this.
Cody Leibowitz, WMDT 47 News.
Facebook has come under some scrutiny for the videos and sent out a response which says, quote, "We do not tolerate content which is directly harmful, for example, bullying, but behavior which some people may find offensive or controversial is not always necessarily against our rules," end quote. And now to the stories making headlines across our nation this evening. The pressure is mounting for Arizona Governor Jan Brewer. Businesses and lawmakers, including those in her own party, are urging her to veto a bill that would allow business owners with strongly held religious beliefs to deny service to homosexuals. The bill passed last week, and critics denounced it as blatantly discriminatory. But conservative groups are pushing for Governor Brewer to sign it into law. She has 5 days to make her decision. On Capitol Hill, according to the White House, President Obama will propose a 1% pay raise for federal workers next year. It would be the second year in a row that civilian federal workers would get a wage hike after 3 straight years of pay freezes. The Pentagon said military pay would go up by 1% as well. And Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel is proposing to downsize the Army as part of a broad reshaping of priorities following more than a decade of war. Under his plan, the active duty Army would shrink to no more than 450,000, making it the smallest since just before the U.S. entered World War II. Hagel's budget will be formally proposed to Congress next week. Still to come tonight, experts are urging doctors to keep up with the times when it comes to yearly checkups. We'll explain after the break. And they look like your average family, but their tale of how Baby Made 3 is anything but. Their story is straight ahead. Stay with us.
Find these stories and more at WMDT.com.